Hello. Here at Resch, Phillips and Graham, we're always doing our best to keep our clients and community in general up to date on new and important legislation that has an impact on the lives of individuals with developmental disabilities. Recently, you may have heard about some legislation called the Home and Community-Based Services Access Act. It's a mouthful. It's going to go by HAA for short. This legislation was introduced at the federal level, addressing the issue of people needing home and community-based services. Currently, when individuals need those home and community-based services, those are things like having providers assist with anything from eating and dressing, hygiene, to also some other day-to-day activities. The individual might be on Medicaid, but Medicaid's not going to cover those services directly. And so the individual would have to take another step and obtain what we call a Medicaid waiver. Now, for any of you that currently have a Medicaid waiver or have explored getting a Medicaid waiver, you know it's not always easy and quick to get. Nationwide, all across the United States, it's estimated that there are around 850,000 people on waiting lists for waivers. Now, that's not just individuals with developmental disabilities. That's plenty of individuals who need assistance due to aging or other infirmities as well. But that's a lot of people waiting for services. So what this act does is it tries to address that by saying we need to have traditional Medicaid provide more services in the form of home and community-based services. So currently, when we think of traditional Medicaid, we think of paying for healthcare, which is certainly a component of it. We also think of possibly it paying for our stay in a long-term care facility, and that's expensive. We know that 1 year in a long-term care facility, if you average it out across the United States, would cost around $294,000. Meanwhile, individuals that have these waivers that provide these services, the average cost for all of those waivers across the US comes to right around $50,000. That's a big difference in cost. So the proposed legislation does this. It says Medicaid, we're no longer going to require people to have a waiver to pay for some of those HCBS services, some of those home and community-based services. Instead, once the individual is eligible for Medicaid, that's going to be a service that Medicaid directly provides. That would be great for a lot of individuals that need those services. It'll also make an impact for individuals that want to move state to state. Currently, once you get a Medicaid waiver, you are to a degree trapped because you don't want to move to another state and then fall to the bottom of a waiting list and start over on the process of trying to get a waiver to pay for some of those services. The HAA does a lot of good things. Again, I'm not hopeful it's going to pass as it was introduced. As is always the case, there'll be lots of negotiation and changing of the bill over time. But as introduced, it does propose some changes that are good for our system. It increases funding for providers. It increases how we take care of providers in our system, and it also changes the model of how services are provided in terms of no longer needing a waiver to cover all those home and community-based services, which I personally think would be a good thing for our developmental disability system because options are always good. We'll try to keep you updated as the bill changes over time. Thank you.